Hello, students, fourth grade scholars. Welcome back as we continue to explore the world of poetry and work towards becoming strong poets just like Jack. What are we learning and doing today? We're returning to our guiding question, what makes a poem, but also we're going to focus on what inspires poets to write poetry. Your learning target for this lesson is I can cite evidence from the text to support the answers to my questions. Remember, cite evidence. Cite means to quote, and evidence is your proof. So you're going to quote your proof from the text. Let's get started. The materials that you'll need is you will need your author's note for A River of Words. That's on page 53 of your student materials handbook. You'll also need What Inspires Poets to Write Poetry note catcher. You'll need your poet's biography, either Robert Frost, Valerie Worth, or Walter Dean Myers. Headphones if you have them, and a quiet workspace. I'll go ahead and pause while you go ahead and gather your materials, and when you're ready to begin, go ahead and press play. All right, great. I'm glad you're back and you're in a quiet place and you're ready to work. Now, what inspires poets to write poetry note catcher? Now, I have already gotten my points here. I am going to be talking about William Carlos Williams. That is our poet. Now, that is from A River of Words. This is our author's note by Jen Bryant. We know that when we read the paragraph 2, it told us what inspired William Carlos Williams. So, despite the demands of his profession, Williams always made time for poetry. In his earliest verses, he adopted the methods of traditional English poets who focused on grand topics and used regular patterns of rhyme. Slowly, however, he developed his own distinctive style in which he used shorter lines, brief stanzas, and little or no punctuation. But perhaps his most important contribution to American poetry was his focus on everyday objects and the lives of common people. In his poems, readers can find fire trucks, cats, flower pots, plums, babies, construction workers, and refrigerators. By stripping away unnecessary details, Williams tried to see the thing itself with great intensity and perception. So, I have first that what inspired William Carlos Williams was everyday objects. Now, where did I find that in the text? I found it right here on he focused on everyday objects and the lives of common people. And so I just plugged it in right here as my first bullet point. Another thing that inspired him, well, it says that in the beginning, he was inspired by traditional English poets. So I wrote, inspired to write poetry by the sound and rhythm of the work of famous English poets. So that is my second bullet point. And then he wrote about ordinary things and people he could see around him. So, you know, by our language dive that we did earlier, that by stripping away unnecessary details, Williams tried to see the thing itself. That meant that he could see the ordinary things and people around him with great intensity and perception. He didn't need all of the unnecessary details. Now, it is your turn to write about your poet. And you are only going to focus on the what inspired poet column. Now, tomorrow we will work on where you can see the evidence of this in their poems. But today we are just working on what inspired your poet. So it's your turn. Use your poet's biography to fill out the column, what inspired the poet. you have Robert Frost, Valerie Worth, or Walter Dean Myers. And that will be located in your student material notebook, okay? Page 50. All right, guys, I know you can do this. Put your thinking caps on and get to work, and I will see you guys in the next video.